Hi everyone and welcome. So my name is Alyssa. You might know me as Multicraftual on Instagram, or you might know me from Juju Knits. And welcome to my knitting show. I have thought for a very long time about doing this, and I thought to just go ahead and take the leap. And if you want to chat about your knitting and come spend some time on my very cozy couch with me, that's great, and we can chat. So hi, I hope this is the first video of many, and I'm very excited to chat to you all today. So first and foremost, why did I want to do this? I talk with people on a pretty much daily basis about knitting, whether it's online or in person, and so I thought, why not just add a YouTube series into the mix? That could be fun. So I hope that you all enjoy. I think the format for today is going to be pretty simple. I want to show you all some things I finished recently, some things I'm working on, and then we can chat about some things I hope to work on in the future, and we'll go from there. I hope in the future also part of this podcast will be what am I watching and listening to while I knit. I love to put on a podcast or a Netflix show and knit in the evening, so I am a big reader and would love to share those recommendations with you also. All right, let's get started. So we will actually start with something that I am wearing right now. So I recently finished, I have made one of these every year for the last 3 years, and I actually think somewhere nearby is last year's. But this is the My Little Secret crop from Jessie May Designs, and I knit it out of a random skein of DK weight indie dyed that I had floating around in my stash. I am pretty sure I knit it to all required specifications. I might have made it a smidge. I think I accidentally made the 1x1 rib at the bottom a smidge longer than I was supposed to, just because I zoned out while I was knitting it, but otherwise all to specifications, except the straps I didn't make as long as she says to, but in the pattern she tells you to measure yourself and make sure you make the straps fit your body. So yeah, my size took not even a full skein of DK weight yarn, so if you have a skein or two of DK weight just floating around in your stash and you would like a comfortable summer top, I highly recommend this. It's bottom up, so you can make it longer than kind of the bra crop top size, and then I will show you all the back. It's just kind of a square line in the back, and you can do crisscross straps. I've done a version before that I'll show you on the podcast in the future with the crisscrossing straps. So this is the third one of these I've made. I make one every year now. I guess it's a tradition. And it's really comfortable. Something for me that I prefer in my tank tops is a high enough neckline that when I bend over, I don't feel like I'm showing everything. So this is very comfortable and I really like it. So 10 out of 10, would recommend this pattern. It's really well written. She has great YouTube tutorials. They're not YouTube tutorials, where are they? They're on her Instagram. She has great Instagram tutorials for things like how to knit the straps and do some of the decreases and stuff like that. So highly recommend. I'm a big Jessie May fan, which you will see in my next finished object, because as soon as I finished this, I knit another one. I did another 3x3 ribbed thing. This is the Ripple camisole. So it has a different neckline. It's made out of a different weight of yarn. So yeah, I knit this out of, sizing. I knit the, it's the one, I have a 32-inch bust. So I knit the size that encapsulates a 32-inch bust for both of these. I will have the sizing on my Ravelry project pages, but whichever size encapsulates a 32-inch bust. So this one, the Ripple camisole, same deal. I customized the straps quite a bit shorter to my own body type. I find I have small shoulders. I like it when my tank tops sit a little higher, so that's always a mod I make for me. This is Madeline Tosh Twist Light in the Grace Notes colorway. I have had this yarn sitting in stash for probably over a year. I think I picked it up at the yarn store in Oklahoma City when I went home to visit some family sometime last year, and I didn't have much knitting and I wanted to knit a sock, and then I just ended up not knitting socks out of it. So it's been sitting in my stash for quite some time, and I have been trying. I have a bit of a problem. I love purple. I love witchy vibes. I love pink. I don't tend to knit in gray or neutrals very much, but there's a couple things that I wanted in some more neutral colors. So a tank top was one of them, and so since Grace Notes is one of my favorite colorways from Madelinetosh, I thought this would be the perfect project, and it is very comfortable. So I will warn you, if you're going to knit one of these, that when you're knitting it, it looks like, I joke it's like those washcloths that come in the puck, and then when you get them wet, you let them soak, they get bigger. This is like all, before you block and wear it, it is all like, it's like this. You're like, what am I knitting? This is a weird, like, long hat. But I promise, if you knit the correct size, make sure that I actually have never gauge swatched for any of these. She tells you to. I've never gauge swatched for a single ribbed Jessie May project, and they've all turned out fine. Normally I'm a proponent of swatching, but with these I don't. I promise it'll look weird when it comes off the needles, but once you give it a bath and wear it the first time, it's fine. So yeah, that is the Ripple camisole. I don't think there's anything else to say. The Twist Light base from Madelinetosh is their 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon base. So I don't think the lighting is doing this color. There we go. I didn't think it was doing the colorway very much justice. So it's a beautiful tonal gray within, it's got like rainbow flecks in it, but not your traditional rainbow, more like autumn leaves and jewel tones situation. There we go. Like there's some purple and orange. I really like it. So I'm very pleased with both of these and would highly recommend any of Jessie May's patterns. I don't think, actually the project bag's right over here. Let me grab it real quick. All right, I have another work in progress from her that I want to show during work in progress time. And then let me see, yes, I have 2 more finished objects to show you before we move on to works in progress. So I am a sock knitter at heart. I got into knitting because I wanted hand knit socks. I thought they just looked so lovely, and the idea was so romantic. I really, really wanted them. So I spend a lot of my time knitting socks. There are always socks on the needles, if not multiple pairs. So these are 2 pairs I recently, one that I have totally finished up and one that's getting finished up. So we'll count it as a finished object. These I finished months ago at the beginning of the year, but hadn't woven in all the ends and blocked them. So I finally did that. These I didn't use a pattern for. They are just my typical, I knit my socks, usually my stockinette socks, using 52 stitches on a 2.25 millimeter needle magic loop afterthought heel. That's my standard go-to. With these, I just wanted a little something, and so I added some ribbing on the front, some 2x2 rib just on the front of the sock, not on the back, all the way down, and then did my afterthought heel. And I like them, and I'm gonna wear them, and I'm hoping they kind of stretch out as I wear them, but I will say the problem that arose is right here across the instep. It is tight. It is tighter than I would like it to be, and I do like a tight sock. It just is tighter than I would prefer. So that is something that in the future, I think if I do this again, I don't necessarily want to go up a needle size because I like a really dense sock fabric. I think it holds up better to friction in my boots and stuff. So I think what I'll do is I will just go up to 56 stitches if I'm gonna do this ribbing across the front, because it just does pull across the instep here, and I don't really want that. So, and I'm sorry if my point of where I'm looking on the camera keeps changing. I'm trying to keep looking at the actual camera on my tablet, but I have it where the screen's facing me. So if my eyes wander, I apologize. Hopefully the filming setup will evolve the more we go on doing this. So yeah, that is the first pair of socks. Like I said, they've been done for a while, but I finally woven all the ends and blocked them. So yarn wise, let me remember what this is. This is wool, no, it's not wool Andes. Knit Pick Stroll Tweed in Persimmon Heather. So it's this beautiful orange tweed. And then these were a one-of-a-kind sock yarn mini, I believe an 80-20 blend from Ba Yarns that I picked up at Juju's. So, and if you're not from Fort Worth and you're watching this, Juju Knits is the most wonderful, wonderful yarn store ever. I have the great privilege of working for Julie, and it's where I get a lot of my yarn, clearly. So that is where that is from. All right, and then the next pair of socks still needs the ends all woven in, but they are my typical Magic Loop vanilla 52 stitch sock situation. And these socks are special because they are made out of yarn that was totally gifted to me by two of my friends. So the self-striping is Knit Picks Felici in Lost Lakes, either Lost Lake or Lost Lakes. I think it's Lost Lake. And that was gifted to me by my friend Macy of Mace of Skeins Yarn. She was sweet. It was in her stash. She just had one random 50-gram ball of it. She didn't have any plans for it. So she knew I had tiny feet and I could knit a pair of socks out of a 50-gram ball of yarn. So she very kindly passed it on to me. And then the bright neon yellow heels and toes are from my friend Lynette. She had this random neon yellow mini in her stash from a local indie dyer who doesn't dye anymore. So together, these are like my DFW fiber friends socks, because they were given to me by two people who are very dear to me in my life. So I love them, and I'm excited to get all the ends woven in and wear them with my Birkenstocks all summer, because it's Texas and it's hot. So socks and sandals it is. We want to wear our hand knits. All right, I think if I take a look at my knitting bag, that is everything for current, recent, finished objects. And let me go ahead and show you some of the stuff I'm working on. I'm working on a lot. I have a lot of whips. I will just show you a selection of the most recent ones I've touched, and we'll go from there. So speaking of Jessie May, I have two active Jessie May whips right now. So first is I have one of the Ripple crop tops on the needles. Tuck those out of the way. There we go. So I have gotten a couple inches. It doesn't slant. It just looks that way because of how it's bunched up on the needle. Oh, and my beginning of round marker is from Arkansas Yarn Company. She did a trunk show at Juju Knits recently and was giving out these cute markers that are her logo, which is the shape of Arkansas, and it's hard to see. There's like a little flower on it. They're very cute. So anyway, this project, it's one of the Ripple crop tops. It's the fingering weight one from Jessie May. And I am using a blend of, goodness, I do not want to try and get the ball band out of the middle of this yarn, baby. I believe it's 80% superwash merino, 20% bamboo. It's something like that. This is from a yarn producer that I'd never heard of before. I bought this off of someone's D-stash during lockdown. And it's from the Great Adirondack Yarn Company, and the colorway is called Lolita. And it was, I waited. It was, she had it mislabeled on her D-stash. I didn't quite know what I was getting. It was over 200 grams, and according to Ravelry, it's like, yeah, it's well over 1,000 yards of yarn. So I was surprised this fit on the ball winder, to be frank with you. This is a thick cake of yarn. But I'm very happy with it. It's this very, let me pull up to the camera so it'll, there we go. Oop, focus on it, not on me. It's this beautiful kind of murky jewel tones. Kind of reminds me of Halloween. Has this really, I think the way the sun's hitting it shows it has this really pretty luster to it. which makes it really fun. And will feel really nice for summer because I think the bamboo content in it will make it nice and cool and breezy, which we of course need here in Texas. So yeah, I have a couple inches, not much to report. This is really easy social knitting for me because it's just 3x3 rib in the round for, though it is a crop top and I am known for my love of crop tops, I want something I can wear with a specific pair of denim shorts I really like, and they are not high rise. And so I'm going to make the full length version of this because I have plenty of yarn to do so. So I believe, again, I will be better about remembering what size I knit. The size that is intended for the 32-inch bust in Jessie May Patterns. That's the size I knit for this. So that is whip number 1. Let's see here. Whip number 2 that I have made some active progress on, if I can grab it without the yarn going somewhere. Okay, there we go. Is, let me just get my, of course I'm in the middle of a row. Where else would I be? Okay, we're gonna just move the needles so nothing bad happens. You ever stop in the middle of the row and you're just like, oh yeah, I totally did that to myself. Okay, these are the Shadow Box socks by Helen Stewart. They are the first pattern to come out this summer as part of the Sock Society, and I love them so much. They are so fun. This pattern is so, once you learn the repeat, it's really intuitive. You just kind of have to pay attention to where you are in the pattern with, like when you're doing the leg, at what point you need to start the heel. I also have to praise Helen Stewart for this. I've never done a heel flap and gusset on Magic Loop, and I have never so enjoyed doing a heel flap and gusset. Anyone who knows me in my sock knitting knows that it's probably one of my least favorite heels to knit, but I do like the way it fits. I just have only ever knit it like once or twice because I find DPNs to be fiddly. And I was so shocked when I didn't have to break out my DPNs. She tells you in the pattern how to do it on Magic Loop, which is so helpful for me. Magic Loop, or because it's a needle 1, needle 2 situation. You could do it on Magic Loop or you could do it on 2 circulars. So yeah, I'm very much enjoying this. It's such a fun, textured, lacy sock. And as for the yarn, this beautiful, I think the sun's washing it out a little bit. There we go. This beautiful copper color with all of this beautiful stellina in it is from Forbidden Fiber Company, I believe. Let me pull the tag out of it. Yes, Forbidden Fiber Co., who I think does great indie dyeing and makes wonderful yarn. It is on their Pride base, which is 70% superwash merino, 20% nylon, and 10% stellina, and is in the colorway Copper Boom. So there's all that info for you. I love it. I don't know if that tag is not going back in that cake of yarn. That's fine. That can go in the bag. Woo, there's an end poking out. There we go. So yeah, I am absolutely in love. I'm only on the first sock, but I just got done with the heel turn. I am officially back to just working in the round regularly. So I think these will, when I was on the leg and I wasn't doing the heel, it went really fast. So yeah, I am very pleased, and I cannot wait to get these done and have them to show you all. But yeah, this color is just yummy and scrumptious and reflects something I'm trying. I've had this yarn for a while. I bought it on the North Texas Yarn Crawl like 2 years ago, I think. Yeah, not last year, the year before. I need more lovely tonal yarns in my stash, so I have more options when I want to knit pretty lacy socks. I am always so easily swayed by a variegated sock yarn. So easily swayed, which will not faze you when I show you my next project, which I'm having a bit of a dilemma about. It is another sock, and it is variegated yarn. I told you, I like what I like. So this is fun because my friend Rachel brought this back as a gift, which was so sweet of her, from Canada when she went around the holidays. And it's a yarn that I've always wanted to try. It's the Mondim sock yarn. So you've probably heard of it. It's the sock yarn that has no nylon and is made all out of Portuguese wool. So she brought this back for me from Espace Tricot. She brought me back a solid color in kind of a lipsticky fuchsia, and then this pretty variegated minty macaron type shade. It is color number 207 if you're curious. So I casted it on, and I'm having, if you've knit with this yarn and you've made socks, please weigh in the comments on your thoughts. Of course, my boyfriend's dog shed all over it. My partner has a lovely dog, but that dog sheds all over my knitting sometimes. I joke, it's her world, and we're just living covered in her hair. Okay. Sorry about that if pet hair grosses you out. I went up a needle size because I had the thought, this isn't yardage wise, it's not like it's a sport weight. I feel conflicted about my choice. So it's 421 yards to the 100 grams. It's a pretty standard sock yarn. And I went up from my usual 2.25 millimeter needle to a 2.5. And I'm worried that it's a little too, it's not like it's massively too big on my foot, but it doesn't have like that as tight of a negative ease as I typically like in my socks. But I wasn't sure, because this doesn't have nylon in it, if I knit it that tight as I typically like a sock, if it was gonna stretch like over time. Like, I just wasn't sure. Like, I'm not sure how this yarn is gonna behave. I've never knit with a sock yarn that is just wool, that doesn't have a nylon or a polyamide or something in it. So if you've worked with Mondim before and you can kind of speak a little bit to how it's going to behave, let me know, because I put this one on hold because I don't want to keep knitting on it if I'm worried it's going to grow too much and it's going to be too much of a house sock, because I really would like to wear these with my boots in the winter. I don't really want them to just be for around the house. So if you can weigh in, I would appreciate it. But yeah, that's on the needles, and I have one more sock to show you, and then I'll show you some sweaters that I'm working on. So, I want to talk a little bit about my project bags. So all of the project bags, I didn't realize this, but all of the project bags I'm showing in this video are by my wonderful friend, Lynette. She is the sewist behind, let me see if I can find her tag in one of these so I can hold it up. There we go. Don't tip out everything. Okay. She is the wonderful sewist behind LV Limited Bags. She is a busy lady these days and doesn't have all the most time for sewing. So when her bags are at Juju Knits, it is quite the treat. So if you ever see that they are in stock, I highly suggest getting yourself one. You will not be disappointed. So the one that I have a bunch of my sock projects living in right now is this one from her. So it's got this cute little, it's like a bucket kind of style bag. It's got a squared bottom, so it sits nicely, especially when you have a lot in it. It's got this drawstring top with this pretty fabric that's got birds. I think they're birds. Yeah, they're birds, they're doves, all over it. And then it has handles. And my favorite part, the thing that sold me, is all of these snakes all over the bag. If you're a big Swiftie, it gives the reputation era. So I love this one. It was so funny. The last time she did a trunk show last October and she had this bag, I saw it at the very beginning of the day and I bought it. And Julie, the owner of Juju Knits, she joked one day she saw me with it and she's like, "Oh, when did you get that Lynette bag?" And I was like, "Oh, the last trunk show." And she said, "I never saw it." And I was like, I didn't let anyone else see it. I immediately bought it because I wanted it. So yeah, I love Lynette and her bags are absolutely gorgeous. So I had to give her a little bit of a shout out. And in a second, I'll show you the two other bags I have from her. But I want to round out what I'm working on with this beautiful colorwork sock. So I occasionally teach a knitting class or two. And this is something that is just so fun to do. So this is the sprinkle sock pattern by Oakwood Knits. Here, the sun is coming in at an unfortunate angle. There we go. So it's this beautiful, like, you start with your contrast color and then it fades into, actually I think on the back would probably be the best place to show you. It fades into your main color and then it's this fun sprinkly color work pattern. I just finished teaching my second round of students this sock pattern and I love it. I love it so much. It's so fun. So that's kind of an ongoing work in progress. I hopefully will get to teach that class again in the future, but I love it. It's so fun. I promised one more whip to show you, and this isn't even all my whips. I kind of got some cast-on-itis the past couple months. Rounding out our discussion about Jessie May. Flip it inside out there. Okay. Ooh, there's a lot of yarn birth. All right. Let's get rid of all the yarn birth. This is the Great, spelled G-R-8, gingham raglan from Jessie May, and I am abysmally at the start of this thing. I'm knitting this with friends, and I feel so bad that I am the slowest one, but now that I've gotten some other things done, I'm going to catch up to where they are. So I am doing a knit-along, kind of friend knit-along unofficially. It's not like on the internet or anything, it's just a knit-along amongst friends with my friends Felicia and Camille. So they both are also knitting this pattern, and they have totally different color choices than me, and theirs are also just beautiful. So for mine, I am using Heritage 6, which is the sport weight Heritage yarn. So it is 75% superwash merino, right? Yeah, 25% nylon. And so this is the color number 5608. Just this beautiful, it's a little bit more of a warm yellowy toned green than I think it's showing up on camera. But it's a beautiful dark green paired with, my love of Mesa Skeins yarn knows no bounds. Oh, I didn't even tell you all on that sock what the yarn was. Hold on one second. Let me pull it back out. This is Mesa Skeins Fairy Dust, and then this is Homestead Fibers Topanga. Yeah, there we go. Not telling you what things are made out of. Okay, I love Mesa Skeins, clearly. 2 projects. Also, there's more projects. Macy is just the sweetest human being. I'm so grateful to have her in my life, and she dyes beautiful yarn. So if you have not heard of her, please go follow her on Instagram. She is local to North Texas, and she's just a dream. Everything she dyes is amazing. And this was part of her spring collection. It's called Love Yourself. She kind of did this like self-love themed flower. I think she called it the flower collection. But it's just the most cream, barely pink, speckled gorgeousness. And it is pairing just so absolutely beautifully with the green in this project. So I'm very happy with this, and I love it a whole lot. And I am very excited to continue working on it. I just haven't made a ton of progress. So you have to start with the sleeves on that one. So it was it's just been a bit of a different knit for me, and I've just been a little bit slow at it. I messed up the color work too. I need to make sure that I'm back on track with the chart. I think I have more whips in the bag. I have one more, but I think that is enough. That is enough chatting about whips for the hot second. Now let's chat a little bit about things I hope to make. Okay, so things I want to knit in the future. I am pumped about the Crazy Sock Ladies summer sock camp this year, how laid back it is, how chill it is. I know a lot of people really enjoyed the cabins and the rules and all of that, but my kind of knit along is an open-ended knit along. So I'm very, very excited to just knit socks all summer. So a couple of skeins of yarn I have in this bag that are going to become summer sock camp socks is what I wanted to show you today. So first and foremost is this month's, what is this called? Sock Squad. Wow, it left me for a second. Farmer's Daughter. So I am in the Farmer's Daughters Fibers Sock Squad for 2023. It's all wildflower and pollinator themed. I got the calendar. I'm looking over there because it's on my fridge. And so every month there's a beautiful illustration of a wildflower on the calendar, and then we get a skein of yarn that is based off that inspiration image. So this month was, let me hold this up here, Queen Anne's lace, which is blooming like nobody's business still, even with it getting hot here in North Texas. It's just unbelievable amounts of it next to the highways, which is beautiful to see, because last year we just kind of had bluebonnet season and then everything died. So it's really great to see. It's great to see the wildflowers persist. So this is, I forgot what the name of the pollinator is for this, but the colorway is just called Queen Anne's lace. And so every month we get a mini and a full skein, and they rotate bases, which is cool. So it's not the same base every time. It is sock yarn, but just not the same blend. So this month was 80% superwash BFL and 20% nylon. So I'm very excited to knit these up into some just like probably like just a basic like probably like waffle texture pattern, just to be able to show off how pretty and variegated the yarn is. Then I have in here something that I picked up from sometime last year, I think. Yeah, last year. Mustache Yarns, who is based out of, I believe, outside of San Antonio, based here in Texas, did a mill end sale. So was selling off partial skeins of a bunch of their self-striping colorways. And I picked up 2 of them. I have one of them in the bag here and what I want to pair it with. So for me, I have really narrow feet and really small feet. I wear like a women's 6.5 shoe, and I usually need shoes that lean on the skinnier side. So I can get away with not having a full 100-gram skein and knitting like a very full pair of socks, especially if I have a contrast. So this is something I picked up from that mill end sale, and it's called A Midnight with You. And it's this beautiful self-striping that's got like pinks and purpley pinks and a dark gray. So I'm really excited for this, and I want to do heels and toes out of this pretty purple I have from Knit Picks in Duchess Heather. This is their stroll base. So that is another summer sock camp plan. And I have plenty past months of the Farmer's Daughter Club. I have yet to finish anything out of any of them this year. It's fine, it happens. So that is my sock knitting plans there, and some stuff I want to knit in the future. Before we go, just because I promised that I would, I want to dote on Lynette just a little bit more. I will show you one more of her project bags, and I will save one to show in a future episode. This is one that she made. It's stuffed full. It has too big of a project in it for its size. But this is the one that she made for Breast Cancer Awareness Month last fall in conjunction with a Knitted Knockers drive. So it's just a very fun fabric with the pink ribbon and boobs all over it. Very fun. Love it. So that looks like about a half hour of content. If there's anything you would like me to cover in a future episode, I love talking knitting opinions, knitting advice. If you want to see a pattern roundup of things I like, just anything you want to see in the future, please leave in the comment section, and I promise these videos will only get better with time, but we all gotta start somewhere. So thank you for spending a little bit of your knitting time with me today, and I will see you all next time.